Three ways enduro riders ruin their enduro skills. So one of the challenges that I see for a lot of riders is they put a lot of work into their skills. Okay, they go and do riding coaching, they watch YouTube videos of Graham Jarvis, Ben Grabham, whoever it is that you follow. Go and do lots of practice on the weekends. You go and pick out, those tough hill climbs. You go and do tough rock gardens. Okay, you go and ride the single trail. You go and spend hours on your bike working on skills, working on different sections. And that's great. You have to be able to do that to get better on the bike. But one of the problems that I see is that riders won't be consistent with those skills. They start off doing the right things at the start of the ride, and by the time they get to the end of the ride, end of the race, they're no longer doing those things that they know they should be doing. And the thing that causes that is fatigue. Okay, as you get fatigued, you start to sit down more. Okay, your technique gets a bit sloppy, and you start to look like a different rider compared to what you look like at the start. And there's really no amount of skills work that you can do to be able to get rid of fatigue without combating it head on. So the top three things that I see that come up, okay, that will ruin a rider's level of skill over a race. First thing is nutrition, okay? One of the things that I'll see is riders will come up to, go into an enduro and they've eaten whatever food they've eaten before the ride or before the race. That carbohydrate stores that they have in their body last them for about an hour. When they get past that first hour, that's when their carbs start to run low, okay? And their carbs start to run low, they'll run out of energy. So it doesn't matter how much training you've done, okay? It doesn't matter how much skills work you've done. When your body's got no carbs and it's got no fuel, it's going to be very hard to get it to perform. It's like having a factory bike and it's got no fuel in it, okay? It doesn't matter what you do to that bike, it needs fuel to be able to go. So how do you fix that? Okay, you want to make sure that you're topping up your carbs as you're burning through them so you can have a consistent energy tank for a full ride. So some stuff that I've got here, simple things you can use, is like a bottle of Powerade. It's about 35 grams of carbs in a bottle of Powerade, 600 ml bottle, right? So you can go to the petrol station, grab one of these. For every hour of riding, have a bottle of Powerade. You can either, if you're going back to the car, you can just drink it. Otherwise, you can just stick it in your camelback. If you're going for a 3-hour ride where you're not going back to the car, put 3 bottles of Powerade in, 1.8 litres of Powerade, fill the rest up with water, and then you're good to go. That way you know you've got your carbs covered. The other thing that you can use is a product like this. This is from True Protein called Endurance. There's another one from Bulk Nutrients called Electrolyte Plus, which is also quite good. That's about, from memory, 60 grams of carbs for one scoop. So you could have 1.5 to 2 scoops in your camelback, and then away you go, or mix it up in a shake. It's really easy stuff. Okay, even if you don't have the carb supplement, you can duck into a petrol station or go to the canteen and get some bottles of Powerade. It's not really that hard to do. So that's the first thing. If we can keep your energy consistent, you can keep your skills more consistent as well. Second thing is strength work. Okay, I find that a lot of riders just aren't strong enough. So that's why I'm in the garage gym here, because I'm going to show you guys some strength exercises that you can do and that you can use. You've got a 100-kilo bike, okay, if not more. So think about this for a second. You've got a bike that's 100 kilos, and then you've got your body weight on top of that. Okay, so if you weigh 90 kilos, it's a 100-kilo bike, a 90-kilo rider, 190 kilos that you need to be able to wrestle around for, say, a 3-hour enduro ride. That's a fair bit of weight, right? So the stronger you can get yourself, the lighter the bike's going to feel. If you can get the bike to feel lighter, you're going to use a lot less energy every time you need to pick it up off the floor. So how do you get stronger without getting big, without getting arm pumped? So I'm just going to put you guys down here, and I'll just adjust this camera angle so you can see me a little bit better. So simple ways to be able to get strong. You can use tools like training equipment like this, which is quite simple, just a weight bar and a squat rack, okay? And I've got some weight plates over there. So some simple stuff that you can do to get started to build strength for the bike is use a movement like a back squat, okay? So back squat, put the bar on our back, we step back, and we can start off with, say, like 4 sets of 10, okay? Very simple, quite easy to do. Watch some YouTube videos if you're not sure how to perform the exercise, or you can just have a look at me here. You can do 4 sets of 10, okay? The other movement that you can do some deadlifts, okay? So bar to mid-shin, we just lift up to a standing position, okay? So I'm just obviously got an empty bar here. If you haven't done any weight training before, it's a good place to start. You don't need to be doing a whole heap of exercises. You just got to be doing the right stuff. That's the most important thing. If you want to do some upper body stuff, you can do some overhead pressing. Make sure I don't punch a hole in the roof. But you can do these seated if your ceiling's a bit shorter like mine. Otherwise, you can do some bent over rows. Okay, like this. So start off with 4 sets of 10. Again, you're not doing every single exercise for every single session. Pick one of those exercises, do 4 sets of 10, that's it. You do 2 sessions a week, 4 sets of 10 squats, 4 sets of 10 deadlifts. Okay, do one on a Monday, one on a Thursday. Gives you plenty of time to get the bike ready still and go riding on the weekend. So that's the strength work. Okay, get yourself stronger. Third thing that I see, we'll jump over here for a second. I'll just adjust this camera angle a little bit as we go. So next one is the row machine. Okay, this bad boy. I find that a lot of riders don't do the right type of cardio. Okay, I find for a lot of riders, they do steady state cardio. Okay, so they'll go and row for half an hour, go on the mountain bike for an hour, go for a long run, go for a walk. So the problem with that, if you look at an enduro ride, okay, or an enduro race, let's say it's a 3 hour. Okay, over those 3 hours, it's not a consistent intensity. It's not like me getting on this roller for 3 hours, is it? Right? Because when I'm on the roll for 3 hours, I'm just ticking over, same movement pattern for 3 hours. When you go and race an enduro, you've got different levels of intensity. Okay, you've got some parts of the track that require a lot more effort than other parts of the track. So you might have like a really tough hill climb, which requires a lot of physical effort. Then you might have another part after that, like a bit of single trail, where it's a bit of a rest before you've got the next section. So in terms of intensity, it's going like this, okay, up, down, up, down, up, down. Whereas a lot of riders train like this, okay, at a consistent speed. So how do you overcome that? Do some interval work, high intensity interval training. You can use a rowing machine if you want, but if you don't have one of them, you can use an exercise bike. You can do sprints down at the park. You can use an elliptical machine. You can jump on a treadmill, use an assault bike, you could probably even use a stair climbing machine. But the whole goal is you just want to do some intervals. So an example is you could do 12 rounds, 30 seconds flat out, followed by 30 seconds rest. Okay, so you could jump on this bad boy, 30 seconds flat out as hard as you can go, followed by 30 seconds of rest. So the whole goal is working the intensity. Okay, we're mimicking, all right, I've got a tough section, I'm going hard, followed by an easier section where I've got rest. And so if you can do that, you're just going to have better transfer from your training. I find for a lot of enduro riders that they can't get their training off the bike to transfer on the bike. And so they come up with this belief that they're like, oh, the only way to get fitter is to actually, for the bike, is to actually be able to ride more, which is true to a degree, but it's definitely not. If you're unfit on the bike, it's not just that you need more bike time, you just need to be doing the right training during the week. If you're doing the right stuff, you'll get a higher level of transfer, which means you can enjoy your riding. So a bit of a recap, we talked about making sure we got our carbs sorted, okay, for our ride, okay, some simple stuff to be able to implement there. We talked about the strength work, okay, and just getting your strength working and getting yourself a little bit stronger, even if it's doing, one exercise, 4 sets of 10, doing that a couple of times a week. That's going to help. And then the third one we talked about is doing some cardio and doing some interval work. So if we can maximize those 3 areas, you're going to give yourself the opportunity or best opportunity to reduce fatigue as much as we can. If we can reduce fatigue as much as we can, you're going to be a lot more consistent with your skills and do more of the stuff that you did at the start of the ride at the end of the ride. If you'd like some help with this stuff, okay, mapping out your nutrition, mapping out your training, you want everything laid out for you, feel free to apply for my Faster Laps program below. Otherwise, hopefully you enjoyed this video.